When Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Manziel was suspended for signing photos and other collectibles this season, we got to wondering how up and up is the sports memorabilia business.
So the first thing I'll say to Johnny is stupid, and shame on the dealers, because we all know that's forbidden fruit. We all know. I mean, you don't think I can go on a campus and go talk some kid into signing some autographs?
We went to Brandon Steiner, one of the country's top memorabilia moguls, who partners with teams, players, and leagues to make sure that game-used items are authenticated and worth all the money people are willing to pay for them.
Whoa, whoa, watch the pen.
Am I getting myself into trouble when I go on eBay looking for things that are not necessarily certified?
You're in a hit or miss proposition. I don't want to put a percentage on there, but if I had to, I'd say at least a 30–40% chance that what you're buying is not real.
If you have a sports fan on your holiday gift list, you might be thinking of buying them something connected to their favorite team or player. In the vast sports memorabilia marketplace, you'll find the hottest and the priciest items these days are what's called game used. If a uniform, a bat, a ball, anything has been used by a real player in a real game, fans and collectors want it. The bigger the game and the more famous the player, the more they want it. The fever for game used has spawned another kind of game with dealers, players, and leagues going to great lengths to make sure you get authentic game-used memorabilia and to root out shady characters trying to peddle fakes and forgeries. They're playing this game for keeps because, as you're about to see, there's serious money to be made.
Here you go. It's a warm September night at Yankee Stadium. The first inning of a game between the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays has just ended. And as the players trot off the field, the grounds crew trots on, carrying fresh bases to replace the barely used ones at first, second, and third. That alone may seem odd, but watch what happens next. That man in the white shirt collecting the base looks like a cop because he is a cop. NYPD officer by day, authenticator by night.
What you see happens at every ballpark, every night around Major League Baseball.
Mike Posner is in charge of Major League Baseball's authentication program.
We've had an authenticator actually witness the bases being removed from the field.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yep.
And then place a uniquely numbered tamper-proof hologram on the base to identify, in this case, first base used in the first inning at Yankee Stadium tonight.
Eric, come on, man, let's go. Move it.
Within hours, legendary Yankee closer Mariano Rivera is putting his finishing touch on all those bases, specially imprinted to commemorate his final season, along with uniforms and posters and balls, even the pitching rubber dug up from the mound at Yankee Stadium.
Did you ever have any idea that it would be worth what it is today, that you would be signing all these pitching rubbers and uniforms and everything else?
No idea.
The man who did have an idea that there could be big bucks in all this stuff is Brandon Steiner. It's in the basement of his Steiner Sports New York area offices where Rivera is signing and signing and signing.
Whoa, whoa, watch the pen.
So literally a couple hours ago, we were with Mariano when he was signing these, and now already they're packaged and ready, and these have been pre-sold.
We're going to ship, we're going to ship this out today.
And Steiner's going to collect nearly $6,000 for each one of them, 85 grand for 15 signed bases.
That works out.
Did you find out maybe we sold them 3 guys?
Long before he was a memorabilia mogul, Brandon Steiner was a fan. He still has vivid memories of his mother taking him along on a trip to Boston, where his beloved Yankees and his idol, catcher Thurman Munson, were playing the Red Sox at Fenway Park.
And I'm yelling, Thurman, Thurman! I mean, just relentlessly for an hour while he's warming up.
For an hour.
Oh, nonstop.
Yeah.
And can't get the guy's attention. Man, I just love Thurman Munson. And sure enough, we get back to the hotel, and I get in the elevator, and all of a sudden this arm holds the door and walks in the elevator. It's Thurman Munson.
Big hairy arm.
Oh my God. I went, what? He gets, I mean, literally like, what did you want? I said, I just wanted your autograph. And I had my program with me, of course, because I kept score. Signed the program. It got me really thinking, wow, this autograph thing is cool.
Millions of autographs later, Brandon Steiner's company has cut lucrative deals with both the Yankees and the Red Sox, on his way to annual sales of more than $50 million, becoming one of the biggest players in the multi-billion-dollar sports memorabilia industry. Almost every weekend somewhere in America, collectors, dealers, and athletes gather at a show.
Right.
This one was in Chantilly, Virginia, to buy, sell, and sign.
Russ Grimm is 60. Jerry Rice is 150. Your toes me 440.
How you doing? You guys doing all right? Is there anything I can do for you guys?
NFL Hall of Famer Jerry Rice hasn't caught a pass in nearly a decade.
What's up, Jerry? See you guys. Take care.
But his stuff and his signature are still moving fast.
See that nice, beautiful handwriting?
Between signing scores of jerseys and helmets in the back room,
Look at this family here.
posing for pictures with fans,
1, 2, 3. Perfect.
and a $200 per autograph public signing session,
Boy, that's a good-looking guy, ain't he?
Rice cleared nearly $25,000 in less than 2 hours in Chantilly.
You gotta love my life, man.
A Hall of Famer can make a substantial amount of money. That Hall of Fame is a license to say, I'm going to now make money in the collectible business for a lot of years to come.
The Heisman Trophy is another guaranteed moneymaker, as Texas A&M quarterback and Heisman winner Johnny Manziel discovered when memorabilia dealers approached him this year with photos and other collectibles to sign.
Is there any way in your mind on God's green earth he wasn't paid for those signings?
I'm sure there was some financial benefit. I mean, he wasn't sitting there signing that many autographs. I mean, that's not a couple hours. That's multiple hours of time on a kid that's pretty busy.
Problem is, Manziel is still a college player, which means that getting paid is against the rules. The incident got him suspended for the first half of this season's first game.
So the first thing I'll say to Johnny is stupid, and shame on the dealers, because we all know that's forbidden fruit. We all know. I mean, you don't think I can go on a campus and go talk some kid into signing some autographs?
But it's the craze for game-used items that really has memorabilia dealers talking. At the Chantilly show, those were the jerseys and bats and shoes with the highest price tags.
It's a religion, really. When you have items like this, these are the holy relics that are part of that religion.
This is amazing.
Grant DePorter practices his religion in Chicago, at a chain of local restaurants he owns named after the late Cubs broadcaster Harry Carey. They're part eatery, part shrine to the most sacred moments of Chicago sports.
I think if you went back over the last 10 years or so, no one's gone after more Chicago-related sports memorabilia than me.
And this year, DePorter took his passion for game-used memorabilia to an entirely new level after the Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup.
I was trying to look around what would be something that would symbolize this year, and when Andrew Shaw, who got injured during Game 6, he almost knocked out. The puck hit him in the face. It was kind of a mess, blood everywhere.
Center for the team.
Yeah, so he went out, but he's such a tough guy, came right back and played, and we had a miraculous win.
And in DePorter's mind, there was no better way to memorialize that win than to pay $6,500 for the tiny nylon stitches used to close the cut on Andrew Shaw's face.
Did you hesitate at all when you were calculating this in your mind? I'm about to buy stitches from a hockey player?
A little bit, because
Just a little bit?
they're a little, well, a lot of people think they're a little gross. You know, you don't know what's on stitches.
Yeah. Well, that was part of my question.
I think eBay was putting out, it was probably one of the most unusual things they've ever auctioned off.
If stitches are the most unusual bit of game-used memorabilia, this is the most expensive. A 1920 Yankees jersey worn by Babe Ruth. It sold last year for $4.4 million.
Your company authenticated that Babe Ruth jersey?
Yes.
Troy Kanunen runs a Milwaukee-based company called Mears,
This bat is a 1921 to 28 Ty Cobb game-used bat.
which specializes in authenticating vintage game-used items like uniforms and bats.
Game-used stuff is just so much more personal than a baseball card or even an autograph. Baseball cards are great. There's a nice place within the market for it, but it's still just a piece of cardboard. It's a reflection, it's an image of the player, whereas a bat or a jersey was actually used to make history.
And nobody's better at turning that history into cash than Brandon Steiner. In 2008, he even bought the old Yankee Stadium and is still selling it off, seat by seat. right down to the dirt from the field.
My goal is to sell $100 million worth of dirt. The margins are unbelievable. And underneath that dirt is more dirt.
He isn't just selling Yankee Stadium dirt. Steiner has buckets full of it from every major league ballpark.
This is just the backup dirt to give you an idea of the dirt.
The backup
There's more
dirt.
dirt upstairs, you know, for like at the final games at Yankee Stadium.
From the buckets, the dirt is put into capsules or sprinkled over glue and incorporated into every imaginable kind of collectible.
You know, great players have walked on that dirt. Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, Derek Jeter, you know. Think about who's walked on this dirt, and you have now a little bit of it. It's just a nice thing. It's a nice spiritual thing to have, I think.
We sat down with Yankee captain Derek Jeter just before one of the last games of the 2013 season. When you first heard that Brandon was literally selling the dirt underneath your feet, what were those thoughts?
My thought was, people really want that? You know what I mean? That's what you think about. Yeah, I get it, though, you know, especially with our organization. You know, history, tradition, those are big parts of our organization, and if people can have even a small piece of it, they want it.
And now when you see the bases moving off every inning, they're being taken
Here
off.
Comes Steiner again.
Here, that's Steiner,
Here he comes.
There's nothing this man won't sell.
Yeah, he's taking everything.
Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera both donate their share of memorabilia sales to charity, and that adds up to millions. But by working with Brandon Steiner, they also protect themselves in a collectibles market, long riddled with fraud. By the FBI's own estimate, a decade ago, 75% of all game-used and autographed items for sale were fakes. How concerned were you about the fakes and the forgeries prior to the authentication? Would you go on eBay and see things?
I wouldn't. I would hear things. You know, people would say, well, I have this item that you signed for me, and I'm like, no, you know, I didn't sign it. And they sit there and argue with me and tell me what I did sign and what I didn't sign. Authenticity is such a huge problem in the memorabilia business, and I think Steiner Sports has really helped clean that up.
I think the main thing also is you have the FBI. You know, they're always got their nose in it, and people have gone to jail.
Yeah.
You know, that's been a huge plus for us.
Just this year, half a dozen memorabilia dealers pled guilty to federal fraud charges. But that doesn't mean that all the fakers and forgers are out of business. Am I getting myself into trouble when I go on eBay looking for things that are not necessarily certified?
You're in a hit or miss proposition. I don't want to put a percentage on there, but if I had to, you know, I'd say at least a 30–40% chance that what you're buying is not real. And
30 to 40%.
I would say, which is a lot better than it was 10 years ago, but there's a lot, you know, on eBay there's just a lot of crap.
It's Troy Kanunen's job to figure out what is and what isn't. Customers send his company dozens of items every week and pay him to use a combination of forensic testing and historical research to authenticate them or not. How much bullshit comes through that door?
A lot, 25 to 50%.
Is that right?
Yes. I have to approach each item as if it's fake. If my mother submitted it, I have to assume it's fake. We're going to get a close-up of the weave.
On the day we visited, he had a jersey on his desk that was supposedly worn by Michael Jordan during his rookie season with the Bulls. And you're magnifying it. Kanunen used a digital microscope to compare it to an already authenticated Bulls jersey from the same year. Side-by-side magnification of the fabric weave, check. Of the neckline, check. Of the letters appliqued to the jersey, check. Then, the size of the jersey. Kanunen already knows from his database that Jordan wore only size 42 and 44 jerseys in his rookie year. This one measured out at a size 46.
It was way too big for Michael Jordan. If you look at any shot of him, he was a skinny rookie, he was a small rookie, and the jerseys fit very tight and snug. In my opinion, I would not be able to authenticate this jersey as Michael Jordan's based on the size of this jersey.
Had it been authenticated, real, how much would that jersey have been worth?
It would have been valued at about $250,000 in today's market.
Excuse me?
$250,000.
So somebody just lost essentially $250,000 by one size.
By one size.
So just tell me about the conversation when you have somebody who totally believes they've, you know, legitimately, they just spent a lot of money and they believe it's real, and you say, I'm sorry,
it's not.
I had a bat that was submitted to me. It was purported to be a Lou Gehrig bat. And I provided the person that submitted to me catalogs that this bat was offered in the stores where kids could go in and buy. There was no way this bat was used by Lou Gehrig. I sent the bat back to him. He said, Troy, I took this bat, I had a seance completed on this bat.
A seance?
And he said, the spiritual leader said that they connected with Lou Gehrig, and he verified that the bat was used by Lou Gehrig.
Seance.
When I rejected the seance proof, the person told me he was going to hire a hitman and have me taken out.
How deep was he into this item for, what was it going to cost him?
If it was real, it was probably valued at, $150,000 at the time.
So you could see why he would be pissed off.
I could see why he'd want to shoot me.
As far as we know, Chicago collector Grant DePorter hasn't organized any seances with old bats. But as we learned with the Stitches, he does have an appetite for the unusual.
You don't see a lot of balls like that.
His most prized acquisition was the so-called Barton Boy, named for the Cubs fan who infamously reached out for a foul ball during the National League Championship Series 10 years ago, robbing left fielder Moises Alou of an inning-ending catch, igniting a Florida Marlins rally and perpetuating the curse of the Cubs.
The Cubs were only 5 outs away from going to the World Series the first time since 1945. So we all thought for sure we're finally going to get there. And then when it was ripped away from us, it was like we were all in shock.
So when the ball came up for auction a few months later, Grant DePorter was ready.
I'm bidding, and I'm at $30,000, and that was my cutoff, and I told everyone else I would be done.
Not a dollar more.
Yeah, I just felt like I couldn't let the Marlin fans win. I said, I know they're bidding against me. And then my wife started screaming at me, you can't keep going, I was at $40,000. So I actually pretended to go to bed. And she's kind of at the pillow, and I snuck back out of bed and went right back to the computer. And like I think 1 in the morning or something, I finally was at $114,000, and it said I won.
I think you probably told her, right? Honey, I bought the ball.
Yeah, in the morning when she woke up.
Yeah. And did you tell her how much you paid?
Yeah.
What he didn't tell her that morning was that he planned to publicly destroy the ball he just paid $114,000 for, all in an effort to break the Cubs' curse.
It's over! It's over!
And draw more customers into his restaurant.
A lot of people like to look at the check because they can't believe it's almost $114,000. Most expensive ball of yarn ever.
And more proof that there's a buyer out there for almost anything that's been on the field of play. Remember that famous Coke commercial where Mean Joe Green tosses his sweaty Steelers jersey to an awestruck kid?
Thanks, Mean Joe.
These days, Mean Joe would at least think about saving that jersey to sell.
The modern player, the guy that's playing today, he's very aware of the memorabilia market. Almost from the time they're rookies, they start saving their jerseys. Whereas in the old day, a player might have been issued 2 home and 2 road jerseys. A modern player, a superstar, he may ask to have 50 or 100 jerseys manufactured for him. He's going to wear them. He's going to save them.
Mariano Rivera saved a handful of history after his last game at Yankee Stadium. For the record, this dirt is not for sale.
A lot of guys, as they get to these big moments, they're changing hats, they're changing cleats, so they can say their game used, but not you.
No. You're giving me a good idea, though.